Welcome to DuckCast, episode 42.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many topics today. First, we're going to open with sports. Zachary, what did you think of the last sport that happened recently?
It was a good sport, a very well done sport. I thought they put their all into that sport. It was a good sport.
Hey, Fred.
Yeah.
What did you think of the last sport?
The last sport?
Yeah.
It was pretty good. They made some cool.
They did things with that ball, I think.
Yeah. So Fred is another, he's going to be back. He's here for the fourth guest appearance, but
also this internet connection sucks. If that's not already obvious for those watching, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Zach's seeing. He's fine screen right now, but I guess I'm not good on his screen.
Yeah, it's very choppy, but yeah. At least we can hear you fine.
Better. Yeah, Fred's here though for this episode. He's going to kind of be in and out though, but this is his fourth guest appearance and making him
really the fourth?
Yeah, because you were here you were the improv one, you were the Q&A one, and then you were in the finale. So this is the fourth one. Yeah.
Am I guessing on your end?
Really.
Am I guessing on your end that Fred is in the webcam? Because for me, I only see his shoulder.
He is, and his shoulder.
Yeah, I am only in.
Yeah, just his shoulder. But
okay.
Yeah, and the most occurring guest so far, number one, I don't want to say number one guest, just the most appearing guest has been Chris, because he's been sick so far. Hope we get Austin on very soon, because I was talking to him on Skype the other day for 2 hours. I was drunk, and we just started watching trippy videos, and we talked for 2 hours.
I got a PM from him when I logged on today of some video, just it was some guy what?
Fuck you, Zachary.
Yeah, something about anuses and rubber anuses, something like that, I think.
We found this channel. It's just this guy that says different FU videos to different names.
Yeah.
People request them and he'll just do them. And a lot of them, most of the time it's just fuck you, Zachary, fuck you, Cody, fuck you, Eric, fuck you, Michael, like that. But he does get specific with some of them. I think the specific ones are for Patreon people, but he gets fucking Patreon for that shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, but he's the first one who did it, so I mean that's why it works for him. First come. But anyway, you have an announcement.
Yeah, I've got to segue into this quickly. We've never talked about this on DuckCast, but you've requested it for me, and it took till now for me to feel like doing it. But starting from the day after I record this will be the first of 10 days consecutively that you'll be seeing videos on the Duck Brigade in your subscription box. The day after this is uploaded, I'll start re-uploading the original first 9 episodes of DuckCast.
Oh, cool!
So instead of I'm not saying we should delete all the old ones, but
but take
from
them
the
off
playlist.
The playlist
Yeah, they. For those that remember, the first original 9 episodes were in parts, and so far I've only finished the first one, but they're easy to do. So they're all going to be in one episode, and I put in the DuckCast intro because why not? That looks cool too. Also, I put in a little. What?
Never mind. Go ahead.
In the intro, it's I just added a quick little word, so it's technically its own little series called DuckCast Revisited. I thought it sounded pretty cool. So yeah. First original 9 episodes. Pretty cool.
When you put episode, because I have episode 0, the original DuckCast with me, Mitzi, and Cody. Did you see that video? I put it up a while back. It was when we were on break from DuckCast.
I never listened to the whole thing, but yeah, I remember.
I wouldn't. When you're messing with the playlist, just move it to the very start. Episode 0 is the first one.
I'm thinking about just because it's. I don't know. I think it's. I know you can move the things around, but I was thinking delete the playlist and then remake it in the right order, just because
it's funny that
I don't know. Maybe I should.
It's funny that podcast was the original DuckCast was me, Cody, and Mitzi, because that is a trio, a combination that does not exist anymore. We are never on Skype at the same time anymore. That never happens.
Yeah.
But that was the original formula. I'm not to say that I would never do a podcast with those two again. They're both very good friends of mine, obviously. They're both on DuckCast occasionally. But I am very much prefer the me and you formula of DuckCast and the Us Three. Every episode of that, like the original one, was a themed episode too, and I think it's good that we dropped themed episodes.
For those OG Mike and Zach rivalry fans, you know, this is like a dream come true for them, you know?
Yeah.
How could they stand a whole podcasts together? Wow.
I have a story. That one. I wrote it down, but I actually remembered it without looking at notes. It's a random story, but it's just one I remember. I was like, this is kind of a funny story. I'll share it on
Is
that
Fred
chat.
gonna clock his gun the whole episode?
Yeah, are you gonna do that, Fred?
I'm trying to take the slide off.
It's pretty distracting. It's
You
like
wanna-
the whole episode is just like very tense.
There's just like this noise going on in the
Oh,
background the
I'm
whole
real
time.
manly.
Playing with a toy gun.
No toy. It says it right here on the side. It's not a toy, Mike.
But anyway, it's the story, and I didn't do this single-handedly, keep it in mind, but I was a big part of it. Remember PicnoChat for the original DS?
PicnoChat, yes.
PicnoChat. Yeah, I was a big part of getting that banned from my elementary school. I just remembered that story because like Super Mega was talking about it on their podcast PicnoChat. I was like, oh yeah, I remember PicnoChat because we were using it on the bus. Back when I was in elementary school, it was still a time where kids in elementary school didn't have cell phones. So once everyone started getting the DS, they would take it on the bus, and that basically we would instead of playing games, we would just send each other messages.
But other people can
but
go
then me and my
into it,
friend
yeah.
we would start getting inappropriate with
Oh.
it, and just sending like people saw, and someone on that bus snitched, and no one in the entire school was allowed to bring their DSs on the bus anymore.
I thought you
'Cause
said
they
it was
might
your
use-
fault, not theirs.
It's not just my fault.
Oh, it's not just my fault.
I said I didn't act alone on this. I contributed. I didn't even start it though. But yeah, I was like, yeah, it was just like us being like, I don't know, like 9 or 10, like knowing what curse words were and going like, yeah, fuck, shit, ass, like stuff like that. And because
teachers knew Russian.
we got called to the office. That's what happened. Like it was our bus specifically because other people were doing it too, but it was our bus specifically. We got called into the office and they told us we're not allowed to use PicnoChat anymore. Do you remember that, Gage?
What?
Because you were on the bus with me.
Oh right.
PicnoChat.
Yes.
Yeah, where we got called to the office. Did you get called to the office
I'm
with
not
us?
sure.
From what
Gage-
I remember it, I think it was like 6th or 7th grade, middle school, that the DS was around, and like there was just one day where they would allow you to bring it to school, and like the same thing, you know, people would like come onto our message boards, like it's like I don't know, some girl that you would never expect to have like a DS with her, and then she would be like, oh, so and so is in the call, and we're just like saying stupid stuff, and literally like the whole room is like a pretty big room, and you just see each other from across the room, like we're just laughing at each other, and like you just think like people that don't have a DS are looking at you two across the room, like what are these two laughing about? It was a very special thing.
These two are just reconnecting. All right, Gage, by the way, you just walked in on DuckCast episode 42.
Oh,
Yes, star. He just slit his throat. He just killed himself.
Jesus.
Can I see that? Oh, wow.
Oh shit.
Show it to the screen. Go in front of the camera and like wave it around.
Maybe. Hang on. Can I not?
Got a
Oh
knife.
Jesus.
Got a knife. You want to put your face in front of the camera, show your lovely face to the people for just a second.
Hey, Gage.
Yes, I do look like an axe murderer.
So this is Gage's first appearance on the show. He
Yeah.
walked in pretty early into it too, so we'll probably hear some Gage and Fred shenanigans going on.
I cannot remember the last time you were in a video call with me and Gage was around.
Really?
Like, it's rare.
I can't remember a single time, so like, I
I think
mean,
a few times, maybe 2 or 3. But I've definitely seen him in a call with you.
if you guys are gonna go have your own conversation, do it over there.
No,
Just
you
not
all should try your best to squeeze into the same.
You guys,
frame
and you
right
guys
now.
can come over here and contribute to a conversation. I do actually want to share one story with you real quick, Zach. If Gage, if you'll join us for a second. Hey, yo, Gage, come here for a second. I want to share another bus story. You know what the other bus story I would have to share would be? You fucking cunt.
I know where this is going.
Fucking made me piss myself
Oh,
on the
no.
bus. Where you fucking did the fucking Ed and Eddie oink thing.
It made you laugh.
It made me laugh, and I fucking pissed myself. This was like fucking early, by the way. Like,
Third grade.
was it third? Yeah, because I didn't know you in second. Third grade is still too old for that to happen. God, I shouldn't have shared that. Anyway, I made me fucking piss myself because he had to fucking could keep his fucking hands to himself.
Uh-huh.
Can you hear them?
No, very faintly.
Can you guys talk over there? This is a bad idea.
You just had to hang out with your
Um,
friends. You just had to be social. God.
Yep.
Michael's fault. Well, actually, Freddie's fault. He's the one who invited me.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry I couldn't go to your barbecue.
What if Fred just invited a whole bunch of people to your house and just held a party?
Yeah, there's just gonna be like more and more people showing
yeah,
up.
I think that was the doorbell. I got some friends here.
What else is there to talk about? That was my only show now.
I did something last
You
night
lost.
that was pretty cool, I thought.
I actually have another thing, but you go ahead. What did you do last night?
I had a bit of a gig last night when it comes to like filming something. Like my dad's friend that I used to play in a band with asked my dad if because years ago I used to record my dad and him when they were still in the band playing music, and he liked the way I would zoom into things and cinematography wise, and asked me if I can do it again with his new band, and I was like, yeah, sure. So we went to this bar, my dad and I, and they played like 90s rock and roll. Personally not my thing. Like I thought I would get into it. It's just not my kind of rock and roll really. Some songs were alright, but what had happened last night, I was like using my older camera, because like my DSLR, like long continuous recordings, that thing would overheat, so I use this and all. I felt like I did. Do you ever feel like whenever you get your gigs, because like this is from someone that hasn't really had a real gig ever since I think my sister's bat mitzvah, which was years ago, but have you ever like tried doing something and you're just not confident in whatever? Because A, you haven't done it in a while, and B,
I'm not confident in my skills, or I'm not confident that what they're making is good, and I'm part of it.
like if your hand's too shaky, or if your tripod is too creaky, or if you're not really
Yeah,
doing
I mean,
shots the right way.
I have that mindset every single time I'm working on something, and that's just the mindset of someone who wants to get it right.
Mm.
But like, I mean, I've had nothing but good experiences, mainly nothing but good experiences from doing the work. I do have those thoughts every time, but every single time the people are happy, and I think it's because I do know what I'm doing with it, and I think you probably do too, because I've seen your work before. With me, I had I've said it, I probably mentioned it at least once before. I don't like talking about it too much, just because I feel like, even though no one really, I don't think anything I say on the show is ever going to be used against me, but you never know. But I did have one unsatisfied customer.
Mm.
I told you about it for sure. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the show, but it was just a wedding I did, and they told me to shoot it one way, and then I shot it that way, but then they kind of changed their mind afterwards, and that's, I don't want to say it's completely not my fault. They wanted, it's too much to explain, but basically they said they wanted one thing, and then they said they wanted it shot with a bunch of different shots and angles, and then I did that, but then they didn't really know how to put it together, so they said you should have just kept it one big shot, basically. I don't know, like I have found a way to fix that problem ever since. That was one of the first gigs I ever had, by the way. I was quite like a good 3 or 4 years ago now, but ever since then I always bring more than one camera, so one camera can be getting the different angles, and one camera can stay completely still. Shooting everything without stopping. So kind of a learning experience there. But other than that, like, I have those thoughts all the time, but normally the work comes out fine. So I don't know. How do you think?
What he told me to do, just mostly because he said he liked what I did last time, so he didn't really tell me any specific directions. He just had faith in me, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, if someone doesn't give you a lot of control, there is a lot of, if something comes out badly, there are a lot of things that can't be blamed.
All that I wanted it for was afterwards, for me to give him the card that I saved it on, for him to download it, and that's it. Probably maybe put some clips up on Facebook. I don't know, which also scares me a bit, because the whole time I was filming, whenever I would I think the whole time I was even thinking like, oh god, what if he takes some of these clips and puts them up and then people don't like them? I don't know. At the same time, it was very. I didn't want it to make it feel too home video-ish at the same time. Like I still try to put some effort in. Like there would be some shots of the whole band, then some shots of like the singers individually. I tried my best to be creative with some of the angles and some of the shots. I don't know, like close up with the guitar when someone's playing and like the singer and the microphone when they're singing.
It sounds like you. I mean, again, I have faith in you because I know what you can shoot and I've seen you get good angles before. Do you? I mean, if you want to send it to me, I can tell you what I think.
They're very long. They're like 4 clips, but very long recordings. That would be huge to send. But like, what I had the problem with the first, I guess, half of it. I brought my tripod with me, and I only use my tripod just to keep the camera on it still. I rarely move behind it or anything. I guess that's really what a tripod's for. But I guess for like certain gigs, like a bar mitzvah, a wedding, a band playing, you need a thing to move around. And like with my tripod, I don't know if it's the same with yours, but like you move it just a bit, you try your best, and it's even when you loosen up the back and the side, it's still
jerky.
creaky. Yeah,
it's jerky.
And like,
but what I do, like, I record sound with different stuff than I record video with.
The mic I use was like the inbuilt one. Like it doesn't even, there's no like input on it for a separate mic.
And that's.
But it sounded good.
Is this a job that he paid you for?
Actually, yeah. He came over today, which I'll tell you a bit because like there's a bit of an ending to the story.
Too. They pay for what they know they're getting. If they're just gonna like say like. I just want to say that this. Again, an unsatisfied customer is something that's possible to happen. It happened to me before, but I keep this in mind, too, when it comes to, like, worrying about what they think. Normally, when a person pays someone to do a job and they know how much they're paying this one person and they know who the person is, like, if they know enough about it, they know exactly, like, they have a good idea of what they're going to get. If you pay, like, a full team of people and it costs, like, thousands of dollars for, like, your wedding video or something, then they expect like a fucking masterpiece to be made out of it, because you're like have all. Like,
I mean, it helped that he was like a family friend anyway,
Yeah, but if it's like like I said, like it's a family friend like that, he is, he knows what he's paying for. I'm not saying that. Oh yeah, he has expectations low for you, and he's right to feel that way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Is basically what I'm saying. I understand being worried about. And by the way, I understand being worried about it. I'm constantly worried. I'm just a warrior.
Because like I was like thinking like the whole time like how's it gonna sound like it on the tripod? Are you gonna hear those creaks at all? And then I don't know. The second half of the show, I just put the tripod back in my dad's car and like just had free hands. But
I do a lot more handheld stuff now because I don't like moving. I don't like panning with the tripod at all anymore. I use the tripod for still shots, and if I have a pan shot, I normally like to use my hands. Like I just don't think I have any pan and shots that look good on a tripod. I don't think it ever works.
When I was using the tripod,
I'll do it. I'll do it if I'm like recording I'm sorry. I'll do it if I'm recording a live event and I need to follow someone and then I still need to be still for the most part. So if I'm ever doing like a sporting event, then I'll use the pan on the tripod because it doesn't matter if it looks a little bit like unnatural movement.
Like I was only in one spot the whole time, even with it free hands. Like I never moved around closer to the stage because like in front is where people would dance, which it was kind of and it wasn't much room. So, like, at some point in the show, people would, which I was very surprised by, people are very rude. They don't look behind and see, A, if someone's recording, or B, does what is generally what they should be looking out for. If someone's behind them trying to watch the band, I'm trying to record everything, and people would just start dancing like some middle-aged women, their friends going out to the bar having a good night, they're dancing right in front of me, I'm trying to get a good shot and I have to be like this and all that.
That is one thing that you have to get used to in this, though, is that a lot of people do not give a shit about your camera.
I know I have a tiny little camera, but at the same time it's like
the wedding I was just hired to do, I mentioned me and Tariq did. There's this one part where they did, like how at the wedding, I don't know if like how many weddings you've been to, but like how at the wedding, like during the reception, or
I've only been to like the one in Israel. That was not that long ago.
Okay. Yeah, basically, it's like everyone's introduced coming out, and I had 3 cameras set up. One just like a single still shot that was going to get everyone coming out, and then 2, the second one, Tariq filming from the side of the door, everyone coming out of the door, and then me, I actually got inside the door and filmed them from the inside the room that they were exiting, and that was the 3 cameras we had set up. And immediately, the one I had set up back there. To get the whole thing was useless because people stood in front of it and didn't move the entire time, and there was nothing I could do about it. I had to stay back there and film. Like, okay, like if they stood in front of the camera, there's nothing I can do about that, and that you just have to accept. Like, I wasn't. I talked to him. I talked to the client about it. I asked about where I could set stuff up, and he basically said there are going to be areas where people are going to be walking around. Like, just try to keep it out of people's ways, and that's what I tried to do.
It's hard when it comes to like the what's it? The design of the place, how large the rooms are and what areas you can use, and even for the reception, like what places they use for it.
It was a really nice sized room, though. I feel like people could have avoided standing in front of that.
Yeah, they're just trying to have their own personal, selfish good time, as harsh as that sounds, but at the same time, I guess they didn't
I understand. I understand it. I never get too pissed about it. The only thing that pissed me off in a situation like that is if someone got mad at me for something that I couldn't control like that. As long as they don't get mad, and I still have 2 cameras that got good footage, so I'm fine. Like, it's not a lost cause. But like that one camera could have I could have been switching back and forth between 3 shots for this entire part of the video. Instead, now I have 2 angles, and I wish I had 3.
But when you saw that, you were still like, okay, you gotta get creative now. Gotta think down the road, like how am I gonna use this in the final cut?
Mm-hmm. When I saw that, basically I had to think, okay, I'm filming with this camera. Tariq has his camera. I mean, I can't go and tell them to move because then I don't have this camera either. But
you have to keep in mind, okay, so my camera's going to be the main shot, probably make sure that this looks the best.
Actually would be. Tariq's actually would be, because mine was my plan for mine is it was only going to be used a couple of times. Mine was the main camera I had set up, that was the most important.
So then whenever you did use your thing for some shots, you had to make sure that they were still good, though. Because you still had to... It's like, of course, even if you have, if you still... God, if you still... God, what's...
Well, let me say this. The whole idea is that the camera I had set up that was immediately useless because people stood in front of it was the most important camera for this part. Because that was going to be where I was going to be showing most of the footage. And I still shot everyone coming out. That's what I was going to use most of the time. For Tariq, Tariq's camera was going to be used for close-ups. He was even using a close-up lens on his camera, and that was so we just to get nice details on certain things. And then my camera, that was the one I was shooting in the back. That was supposed to just be the nice little touch to it, to actually be able to show people walking out from inside the room. But I was only going to show that briefly. That wasn't going to be a big thing.
I think I remember what I was going to say. Even if you had enough faith in Tariq or not, you still had to make sure on your end that your shots were still coming at it. Just as good, that you could still use them for main shots.
I do have faith in Tariq, but this was the first wedding he did, so I was nervous.
Yeah. Going back to the tripod thing, though, I remember a big reason why I stopped using the tripod, other than it was being creaky, the little lever in the back, because I'm trying to make sure even though it's still creaky, I still want to try to make it smooth. So I was holding it very tightly with this hand, and after some time, right here, it got really hurt, my carpal tunnel really kicked in, and it just hurt like crazy. I was doing this pretty much the whole night, and I just had to ditch the thing. But
you see, the thing with me and tripods is they're very, very useful for certain things. But I don't know. I don't think you can get that creative when you're using a tripod. I think to get a really unique shot, it's normally best on handheld.
I see him as a way, if you have a smooth enough tripod, you can, as long as the shot is not tilted slightly and it's also still for the most part. Other than
and granted, I do have a
those are
tripod.
Yeah. That's just how it is. I don't know.
What else was there? Okay, anything else you want to say about this?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Because I know there's some from today, continuing the story or ending the story, but I'm trying to remember anything else from last night. The band themselves are all right. I felt like the drummer and the lead guitarist, other than my dad's friend, he was also lead guitar, but this other lead guitar, they were kind of mad. The bass player and my dad's friend were killer, I thought, but it was very unorganized. I thought it was just... recording a band, I remember years ago when my dad's band did theirs, and like they were tight. They worked well off each other, and it was easier to do the cinematography well because you were able to really get into it. You're able to transition from shot to shot a lot easier because your heart's into the music and you're really getting into it. With this, it felt I didn't feel as much into it. I was struggling because like I was just trying my best. I was thinking all like making the shots look good ish, like framed wise and everything, but transitioning shot from shot wise, it didn't really feel. I'm sure looking back on them, they don't feel as tight, like everything together. You know what I mean?
I definitely know what it's like to, while you're shooting something, think it's perfect, and then look at it in post and say, not as perfect as I thought it was.
It's like a music video, you want to pan to something at the right time during a certain chorus, or when a certain person sings, or when, just the right feeling of the part of the song, and like, it was hard, like a 2-3 hours worth of like, me thinking like, oh, this is not going to look good, and again, like, oh, what if you post this on social media, what are people going to think? Are they going to be distracted by the music, or are they going to look on the cinematography? I don't know.
Most people aren't going to focus that hard on the cinematography. I would. But like,
there's that one guy out there who's like in college for film, and he's like, "Oh, I'm picking this apart," and it's like, no.
Yeah, and that person can go fuck himself, but because like you don't need to pick stuff apart on stuff like that. There's a good way to criticize stuff, but I even think when you're like talking about a friend's video, like a good friend's video, if you have criticism, you should do what you did when I made Across the Fourth Wall and talk to me over Skype rather than leave a comment. Because I appreciated that, because I got like some of the criticism you had, like that probably make the video look bad in the comment section.
I remember like when he came over today, I might be repeating this, but like he said it looked fine even despite me telling him like I think they came out a bit, but he was like no, he looked at it, he was like, oh, this is good. Even my dad was like saying, oh yeah, I saw him.
I had that a lot.
Recording it looked good.
I had a client where I shot a play for them once, and I was so nervous of what they were going to think of the footage, because I didn't get to go to a rehearsal to practice this. This was just something like they asked me to do that, very little. I was like, and I was just so nervous, and I was looking at the footage, and like, I didn't think it was awful. It followed everything, but like there was a certain bit of shakiness to certain parts of it. And again, this was one of my earliest gigs. I've like learned how to avoid so much of this, and again, a lot of it just comes from having more than one camera, which is a good thing to have more than one camera. Because just especially because the cameras can break. Like, you could go to a wedding and then like have one camera with you, and then just something goes wrong with that camera, and like try to explain that to the bride and groom. Like,
I only brought one camera too. I could have brought a second one because it's very close to quality as the other one, but I decided not to bring it. So, I got risky, but at the same time,
I would recommend in the future bring more. But this was also different. Like
what scared me too? Oh, sorry.
I think that no matter what, I'd bring two cameras with me now. Before, there were plenty of jobs where I would only bring one camera, but like a big job, 3 cameras at the minimal. The wedding we just did, me and Tariq, we had 4 cameras, because I had 3 and Tariq had 1 with his own that he brought. And one of the cameras I brought was my dad's, because I own 2 cameras. My dad has a very, very good camera that he let me use when I need it, and Tariq has a really good camera too.
What scared me too about last night? Like,
what?
I have this battery on this one, but there's a bigger battery, like that's like 2 or 3 times bigger than this, and obviously holds more battery. I used that one for my first battery, and it said like, looking on the camera, over 300 hours worth of battery. Again, haven't used this camera in a long time, so like when I was recording with it, I think in less than 2 hours it would be under the 30-minute mark of battery life, and it was like, oh, come on. So I had to switch batteries, but it was like, it's kind of sucks. It's kind of good that I stopped the convention videos too, because like I use this a lot for like the montages and everything else, so it's good thing I'm ditching this. But I don't know.
So
just to kind of wrap up the story a bit, so going into the day, like I gave him the SD card last night. He was gonna download it. I was out with my family today, and all of a sudden my dad gets a text message from him. My dad's friend looks like we got a bit of an equipment issue going on here. The footage isn't on the SD card, or it is, but playing it back, it's only the audio from the footage. So I was thinking to myself, like, how can I be? How is that? How did I screw that up? It's like I made sure to like.
Well, you did it.
No, I'm not saying that in an angry way. I'm just saying, like, I'm thinking to myself, like, how did that screw up?
No, you're not saying it in an angry way. I should let you finish your story. Sorry.
I was like looking. Remember before giving him the card, like I looked back on the in the menu, see if there's any footage. There was footage, so I was thinking, making sure. Okay, so I got that right. I was like telling my dad, it's probably something by his, and he's probably playing it on a program that only lets you play video files, but only the audio from them. So when he brought the SD card over, I put it in my laptop. The same thing happened, only audio. So we were all thinking like, oh god, what's going on? So I tried playing with Windows Media Player. Now my dad's friend is really good with computers still, so he said he didn't try this when he was home, but he tried it here. He tried opening it in another video player, and this video player recommended, hey, you can't play this without this certain video codec. This is a video codec that was available for Windows 7 users, but not for Windows 10 users. So it's Windows' fault. And it was the same thing with my dad's friend. He tried playing it on Windows 10 as well. So I downloaded the codec, tried it out, finally worked. He was satisfied. He said he downloaded it on his computer anyway, so I didn't have to give him back the card anyway. But yeah, that's what happened. It was all because of Windows. I don't know why, like... They when the Windows 10 came out, they even, I think, did like a mandatory update to a lot of Windows 7 users, right? To like switch over to Windows 10.
Yeah, they tried.
And yet, like, they didn't put the certain video code. Like, don't a lot of people use Windows Media Player? Or just to watch back videos or anything? Like, it's so, like, how would people know that? It was so frustrating. Like, when I put it on my laptop, I was so sure, like, oh yeah, my side's gonna work. Then put it in, it's like the same problem that he's having. It's like, okay, how can we convert this? It was like an MPG file. It was so weird. But we finally got it to work. He paid me $100, which was more than I thought he was going to. I thought it was going to be like 50, 25.
Well, how long did you work last night?
Like I said, 2 or 3 hours was the whole gig.
Yeah, 100 isn't too bad for that. I mean, at least for like a first job, like.
It was a little recording of a little band thing with a terrible little camera.
No, I hear you. And
it's also a lot less.
It's also a friend of the family. I get that.
Yeah.
Right now I do 50 an hour, but I think I need to raise that.
It's not like I'm like you, where I have my own kind of independent business thing. It was more like just some friend asked.
I have like jobs I do on the side, and then one company I work for. I feel like I technically have 2 jobs now, because the one guy I have been working with for like 2 months now, and I do work on that every single week, and I've been paid for several episodes now. And there's a trailer that's done and probably getting released this week, so look out for that. If it's out on time, we'll make that a recommended video for this week, and there'll be a link. If it's not out by the time you upload this, then there won't be.
Like, you got any chips that can chew on loudly?
You want to come over here and talk about one thing? Because you went to see it. We went to see it last weekend. Me and Gage here. Fred was working. But yeah, we saw.
Tariq said no.
And Tariq said no.
You can't see Gagey Poo. There he is.
Just call him Gagey Poo.
Gagey
Poo. That's what Brent calls Gage. That's what Gage calls. That's what Brent calls
Gage.
Gage.
He's call me that.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Now Fred's here. But we saw it, and Fred saw it too with a friend the other day. What did you think of it?
Did you pick this up before?
I don't know.
Did
You saw it, right?
Yes.
And you said, yeah, you sent me a message. You said you liked it a lot.
Yes. You never responded.
Oh, okay.
And you take forever to respond.
Me or him?
You.
What do you mean?
You texted me, hey, I texted you, what's up? 3 hours later. No, I haven't seen you in a while.
But yeah, like, did you see it yet, Zach? I'm assuming not.
I'm not into it. I'm like a crybaby when it comes to those horror movies. I don't know, the old school ones, like they're corny and all. I could deal with them, but
I didn't find it scary at all. Like, I
saw
know.
One clip of the Georgie scene though.
He's mostly just creepy.
Yeah, I mean, like, most of the actual scare tactics is done from jump scares in this movie, and I can forgive it with it because everything else was done so well. But you can kind of tell every single jump scare when it's coming because you have like this music playing throughout each scene, and you start to hear it when it gets lower and lower, and it's like the only time it's ever shocking is when it does that and there's not a jump scare. There was one part in the movie that made me jump, and that's when Pennywise is like in the character Bev's like the clown character Pennywise, and I won't say anything about what happens in the scene, but Fred and Gage will remember. Well, basically he's in this room with a character, but you don't know he's there the entire scene, and then the character turns around and he's just there. There's no build up to it at all. He just turns around there, and that shocked the hell because there was no build up to it, and I didn't see it coming. And that was a good scare because of that. That was a good way to do a jump scare because it didn't have like the fucking orchestra like go off either. Or maybe they
I like
did.
some of the jump scares in the movie Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
Yeah,
Never seen that.
What if every movie constantly had jump scares and always had that sound effect?
No, you saw the Georgie scene you said?
Yeah, it was on YouTube, just like that one
That was
scene.
that too much? Because that was too much for Joanne. She said she was going to go see it with
I'm sure if I was in the movie theater with the loud speakers and not bootleg version, yeah. But, like, it was... I didn't like... I mean, it was kind of obvious, but, like, you know, the teeth, you know, CGI teeth, and it was like, I don't know, I didn't find that scary. But I'm sure if I saw it in the big screen theaters...
Well, I didn't find it.
It's fine.
The
Better
kid
than
getting
the
his
old
arm
Pennywise.
ripped off, though. I mean, like, that was...
I never thought anything in the movie was that scary. I thought it was cool though. Like I thought it looked good. I thought the effects looked good. I thought Pennywise was a cool character. There was some good comedy. Fred's right. There was some stuff in there that like, you know, like the lines themselves weren't hilarious, but the actors know how to deliver them, so it was good. You have the kid from Stranger Things, of course, and he was mainly comic relief. He didn't like the only part with him that seemed like genuinely like a moment that they took completely seriously with him, and it was actually creepy, is when they go into the house and he's on a missing sign poster already.
Yeah.
And then he starts having a breakdown because of that. And that part was like a genuinely like creepy scene. Again, I didn't find anything about the movie. Like there was one part that made me jump, and everything else was like there was a girl in front of me and Gage, and you may have been. I don't know if you were in the bathroom. Were you there for the library scene?
I was there.
Oh, did you hear the girl crying in front of us? Yeah, I don't know why that scene got her though. That was one of the easier going scenes. I'm surprised that got her, but
Was it because he was like decapitated?
was there a kid? What?
It wasn't.
It was his.
Yeah, it was like it looked like some kind of sound.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Or was it his severed head in a tree in the picture?
Yeah.
It's usually odd in movies to see like kids get killed.
It is weird, and that's why it has like I don't know. Like some people say that it's not an okay thing to do. I don't know. I think it has balls for showing a kid die. Like
As long as they don't show an animal die, I'm okay with it.
the
Like,
movie.
I've never seen the original movie, but like when I saw that one scene with Georgia, I was like, whoa, this is even in 2017 they can kill off kids in a horror movie. Like, damn.
Cannibal Holocaust. The movie Cannibal Holocaust. I think that's what it's called. Cannibal Holocaust. I think that's the name. They apparently in that movie, Monkey's head gets chopped off with a machete, and they found out later that wasn't an effect.
Wasn't it? It wasn't.
Wasn't.
No.
The movie, like I don't know, like the movie got in a lot of trouble. I might be. I might be misquoting the wrong movie. I know that there was a movie controversy. It had like a lot of human deaths in the film, but the thing is, like they weren't real deaths, but like they had the actors. They filmed it like it was a documentary, and then they had the actors like stay out of the media for a whole year when the movie was being released. An older movie, just as a little stunt for the film, make it like seem a little bit more real, just because entertainment, like dark, fucked up entertainment, but entertainment. But I guess, and again, it might not be this movie. I know this was one of them though. Me and Joanne were looking up this stuff. We did a podcast on it that's never going to be seen because too much outdated shit's in there now because it took me forever to upload it. But yeah, they had to prove in court because the director was arrested and whatnot. He had to prove in court how they did the effects and show that the actors were still alive, but there were still penalties because the animal abuse was apparently very real. This is an old movie, keep that in mind. But yeah, they really did chop a monkey's head off. You're gonna Google that? Yeah, look up Cannibal Holocaust, and you don't know. You have to. Yeah, that's why I'm pretty sure what it was called.
Oh, there was one thing I was gonna say. one of the big contrasts between the book It, the original movie It from 1990, and the new It in 2017 is in all those versions, when Georgie gets attacked, he dies right there and then. Pennywise doesn't drag him into the sewer. He bleeds out and dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a funeral for Georgie's death. But in this one, he was dragged into the sewer.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, Bill still has that possibility in his heart that, oh, hey, my brother could still be alive.
I actually didn't know that. Wow. Didn't they cut it off like him actually dying in the original movie?
Yeah, it was.
They weren't going to show a kid death in that.
It was down here. You'll float too. He grabs Georgie's arm and shows teeth, and then Georgie screams.
Yeah, and their way of doing it was, instead of having teeth actually reach onto the arm and bite it off, in their version it's just he opens his mouth, the camera zooms in, and then you don't see it actually happen.
But they actually went the full course though with this one. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, Tim Curry was the only redeemable thing about that movie, and I mean, it's just, I don't know. I hear so many people say it's a good, oh yeah, no, the old one's good too. No, it fucking wasn't. I mean, you're allowed to have that opinion, I guess, but I don't know, I hated it.
Take your pick, baby boy.
Well, I watched the Nostalgia Critic review on it years ago, and I was like, okay, this probably sucks, but then he just has, him and Rob both have, this thing of Stephen King, and I feel any review you watch him do on the Stephen King thing, movie, or I mean, not that they're against everything he does, but there is a bias to it because it's just one of those people that Doug Walker
makes bad movies.
It's just one of those people that Doug Walker isn't extremely fond of. There's a bias, so I decided to watch it myself, see if I liked it, and
I just like how Tim Curry would.
Yeah, Doug Walker hated the new It too.
Oh, yeah.
I said hated it. He said he doesn't think he likes it. I'm exaggerating, but yeah, him and Rob, they shit on stuff in the movie that I don't know. They just can't accept that it is what it is.
Yeah.
They say it's just say at the end of the day, I don't know why it's a popular Stephen King story. It's really not his best work. It's pretty good though. I think. I don't know. It's not a realistic story. It doesn't need to be though. It's based on dealing with your your biggest fear. It's a psychological story.
One of the things is though, I wonder when they do an origin story on It for the movie, because they said they were doing that, but it was cut because it was considered too creepy. Apparently, there's a real origin for It that Stephen King wrote, and
yeah, there is.
It's dumb.
How would you do an origin story to a mystical character?
A little bit, yeah. Apparently, Pennywise is coming.
Isn't the point of a mysterious? Isn't the point of a mysterious mystical character? It's supposed to be a lot of their past is hidden anyway. That makes the creepy factor a lot more
I agree.
Pennywise
solid.
Mostly his story is hidden.
You don't really need to know the backstory. You just need to know he's scary, and that's what makes him.
We do know his backstory, and I find it kind of dumb.
The idea of it is dumb. I mean, you don't need.
He is.
Maybe put up a spoiler thing right here, just in case people don't want to hear that. Maybe do
this
it for the whole.
This was in the book. It was never explained in anything.
And maybe do it for the whole It thing as a whole, just because people might not. We didn't spoil anything major, but we did talk about stuff that happened. So at least put up a minor spoiler alert, not in the title, but when it appears in the video, have a little.
Yeah, it's click here when
Yeah.
Post. Yeah. I'm just writing it down.
It actually is an alien from an alternate dimension that predates Earth. So he is an evil entity from a parallel universe that shows up in our system because of the Big Bang. He crash lands on Earth, stays dormant for a couple hundred centuries.
So he's an alien.
Wakes up during the 1700s, feeds, and then goes back and gorges himself for an entire year, and then goes back to sleep for another 30. And then
after 10,000 years, I'm free. It's time to conquer Earth.
Fun fact.
1 year at a time.
Another fun fact: professional clowns are becoming less of a common thing nowadays, and it is not helping.
Well,
I want a
Breaking
Founder.
news.
You know the movie The Founder? I saw that
I saw that on Netflix a few weeks ago.
It.
Yeah,
I loved it.
That was a good movie.
I thought it was a good movie. I'd say I loved it. It was 7 out of 10 for me. I thought it was really good.
Very good.
I want a Founder 2 that completely focused on the creation of Ronald McDonald.
Okay.
And who had that fucking idea and why they went that, like...
Probably the same dude, just for franchise sake, I mean.
Like, were there any objections during that time period? Was everyone for Ronald McDonald?
Did you know he was actually afraid of clowns?
Yeah, he was afraid of Ronald McDonald because there was like this plane ride. You probably watched this. Did you watch Top 15s?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I watched that.
It was like he was in a plane ride with Ronald McDonald, and Ronald McDonald was like he wasn't really in character, but he had like he was like smoking, drinking some like champagne or whatever.
Yeah.
So this was like an old flight, not in this time at all.
To be fair with this,
He said, "I just came from Ronald McDonald land on my way to England."
The only thing I'm going to say about that is I saw the video too, and I mean it's interesting. Don't get me wrong. I feel like that is a story that needs to be fact checked, though. I don't know. It's like it sounds a little bit ridiculous, you know. Like, I mean, it's not impossible. It's not like I refuse to accept it's something that could have happened. Or
I know
anything.
back in the old days in planes, you were allowed to smoke before.
I know that. I'm saying that Stephen King happened to be sitting next to Ronald McDonald on a plane. Like, just, I don't know. It's not like, again, it's not something that's completely out of the question. It's just, I don't know, something about it just strikes me as funny. I feel like
are we done talking about... Wait, first of all, I hear myself on your end.
Sorry.
Just lower your... I don't know, lower it a bit.
I need to hear you.
Lowering it a bit, I don't think would do too badly.
Can you still hear yourself?
Yeah, a bit.
Normally this only lasts a couple seconds, but we can
test. I don't know.
We can stop talking about it. I know we went on a long time.
I was gonna say, like, are you done talking about it? Then I know, like a bit before the Ronald McDonald talk, I guess, is where I can put like the time of when people can come back to us.
Yeah, no, that's all I want to talk about. If you guys want to continue hanging out, feel free to. If you guys want to go back over there to your corner, go.
One thing I found I saw a story that said the guy who created it, or the guy who directed the new It, might direct the remake for Pet Sematary.
I never seen Pet Sematary.
Well, my name is from Pet Sematary, man.
Oh, I think you've told me that before.
Yeah, I was named after the kid from Pet Sematary. Gage.
Pet Sematary?
Pet Sematary was Stephen King's book where there was this pet cemetery, but behind it was an Indian burial ground where if you bury something there, it will come back, but it would usually come back evil.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Judd, the neighbor, warned them about this, but the family lived on a road, a fairly used road that had mostly truckers coming by, and the young boy Gage, who was like 2 years old, got hit by a truck. They buried him in the cemetery, and he came back and killed some people.
So we need to we need to like wrap this up because I still got to get on Discord with Joanne and whatnot. She needs help writing.
Done. All right.
How long? Well, we've been going on for a while.
40 and a half minutes.
40 and a half. Okay.
To any of you who are serious, this is not real life.
I said 20 minutes to Joanne, so I mean we could do like 15 or 18 more minutes. I don't know. I can end this call quickly.
So all three of you can relax.
Okay.
You can just end it on, yay, Gage's parents named them after a dead guy in a book.
Who killed his own parents.
Yeah.
Well, his mother, anyway. And some old guy, and the old guy named Judd.
Someday you're just going to actually do it, and that's not going to be funny.
Well, he was 2 years old at the time.
I'm talking about Mike's knife thing right now, but... Yeah, your thing's cool too, I guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Mike, just a reminder, it's down the road, not across the street. I learned that from John Wick 2. That was actually the scene that kind of disturbed me in that.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I was watching that, and you just like it disgusted you.
Yeah, because there are many forms of death I am okay with. Slitting your wrists is not one of them. And she does both of them and just slowly bleeds out in the tub.
Yep.
This is a great shot of half of Gage's face and Mike's arm.
All right. Well, I guess next topic.
Michael's thing is kind of weird because it shows one half live, another half delayed, and usually with a still image.
Well, yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so it shows Michael looking at Michael and me. Does it show that on?
Should I put with Fred and Gage in the title? By the way.
Yeah, because I was gonna say before, don't, because they were over there for most of it.
But like for the second half, they were pretty well.
Yeah,
Gage, I guess, but Fred, yeah.
So I'd say include Fred and Gage. We gotta get Nick on eventually. I guess Tariq too. Like I don't know, like
Tariq's. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
Fuck Tariq. We all hate Tariq, right?
Can I take you a Snapchat and send it to him when you're saying that?
No, just let him come across this episode because Tariq watches every episode of DuckCast all the way through every week.
Oh, so it's 4 viewers, not 3.
Oh. Who's the third one?
My mom.
Me, Zachary.
Well, it's excluding you and Zach.
Oh, why is there 4 people who watch them?
You're 4 fans who actually care about your content.
I don't think that exists. I don't think that's a thing.
All right, that's it. We're putting a Barry Boner saga into season 3 as well. I guess he's back. He's alive. He's watching us also.
I'm going to put a paper cut in the webs of your fingers.
Why? Yeah. Barry Boner is gone. Let's not acknowledge him on the show anymore. Except it's sad. I see a piece of him right there.
Bundle.
Yeah. I guess I never cleaned that part up. I don't. Yeah, like right here. He still lives on.
Barry Boner, the Bamboozler. Or the Bean Boozler.
It's like a subtle advertisement for season 2. Then go back and watch this if you missed it. A couple of jackasses.
Amazon. I could order another one. Like it was like $5, I think.
Amazon, we have everything
except happiness and joy.
We should end this before we just keep blabbing.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Like that was the main things I wanted to talk about. PicnoChat and
You keep saying it wrong. PicnoChat. Just one letter off, dude. You're gonna piss off the PicnoChat community. Come on.
There's still like a very PicnoChat community.
All the old DSs.
That like made a mod of it online so they could like.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there are though. I'm sure a lot of people really like that. I should look that up later. PicnoChat.
People don't grow connections to messenger boards, do they?
Why do you carry around a lot of sharp objects this episode? What's up with that?
That's gonna be the name of this episode. Sharp Objects, the show.
No, come on. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Come on. It's 1 against 4, dude. Oh, jeez.
Scratch it.
I don't know why I said 5. I'm an idiot. Oh, no. I think it's got you beat. How did you lose? It was 4 against 1, you idiot.
Is it the tip blunted?
Yeah, the tips are blunted.
We gotta end this.
Fuck you.
This is getting childish. Come on, guys. Can't start stabbing each other with knives.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? I gave show content. You gave show content. Do you have anything else? We talked about a lot this episode. We actually got some. Is there any? I'm trying to think. Did anything else happen that was interesting? There's a new Rick and Morty tonight. I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna end things early with Joanne so I can watch Rick and Morty.
Well, this is not gonna be uploaded tonight. This is gonna be uploaded days after, so it might be a bad episode. Now people are gonna be reminded of that. Thanks.
Rick and it's gonna be a Rick and Beth episode tonight. From what
it's not the Switchblade.
Hey Gage, are you caught up with Rick and Morty?
Butterfly.
Are you caught up with Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
You gonna watch the new one tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Rick and Beth, it looks like.
12.
You shouldn't watch it though, because you're behind.
Behind like what?
Only one episode left of season 1. We have to remember. We actually watched most of season 1.
Can we watch it right now?
We can.
You still have to show me the other episode.
Yeah, there is one we skipped.
What was it? Season 1.
The house party.
Mm.
Right. Still on that chat with your man.
Yeah, I know.
Or he just not.
Just not do it, and we'll do it with Joanne. And like, I don't know how long she wants to do it. If we have time after that, I'll watch the episode with you.
Oh yeah, I've been playing Oblivion again.
We'll watch the finale. Yeah,
We're just gonna have an extra hour of you guys talking and all that.
well, I mean, again, if you had something to talk about,
I don't
would-
has anything to talk about. No.
Not get the fuck out.
Yeah, we're just gonna sit here and talk. Zachary, leave the room and come back in 20 minutes when the episode is over.
I'm not.
All
Nope.
4 of us people who are watching the show, me and Gage consistently, Zachary whenever you got the chance to, and then Fred haven't shown it to, Rick and Morty.
It's a show for sophisticated adults.
What is your favorite episode of Rick and Morty,
I
Gage?
have that.
I know what yours is I know what yours is so far, Zachary. Yours is Meeseeks, right? I know
So
you're only
far.
5. He's only 5, and
Mr. Meeseeks, look at me.
that was one thing I was going to do last episode. I never did my Meeseeks impression. I still should do that this episode, though. Gage, what's your favorite Rick and Morty? That's a hard question.
Yeah.
I have like a tie. I think I have a tie for like 2 right now, but I changed my mind.
For this season, it's gotta be the
Oh, you know what? There's like
the Citadel one.
Yeah, I didn't think that the
For
Citadel.
this season.
Oh, I have a tie for 3 then. And Fred, what's your favorite so far of what I've shown you?
My favorites.
Yeah, just your favorite of what I showed you.
I don't know. Probably the
Meeseeks. Meeseeks is a good one. Mine is like I'm torn between one
A
where
man chooses the Meeseeks obeys.
yeah. I'm kind of
Sure.
torn between the one that everyone really loves, where it's like all the false family members.
Oh yeah.
I forget the name of it. And then this season, I don't know. Like I know some people find this episode like to be a little bit like
Wasn't that a season premiere episode?
no, that was season like halfway through season 2.
Oh, like a mid-season almost.
Yeah, and then like this season, I don't know. I know this one's kind of like a meme at this point, and some people, a lot of people don't actually like it that much. I love
Pickle Rick.
I loved Pickle Rick. No, I thought Pickle Rick was great. And then Citadel of Rick. So that like this, Tales from the Citadel. That one was like the best. Like Fred, you remember the Citadel of Rick's episode, like where it was like all the different Ricks and Mortys? There's an episode in the newest season where it's just a bunch of small stories from like a bunch of different Rick and Morty lives. Yeah, and it's so fucking good. It's so fucking well done. Like Eric watched it the other day, my brother, and he said he thinks the whole reason that season 3 took so long is because they were writing that episode specifically. He's like, I mean, I don't know. The season has been like, to me, it's like
Well, it's just the one guy. Like the one guy's.
I think it's had its ups and downs.
Rick
This season.
and Morty are the same guy, right?
Yeah, Justin Roiland.
So yeah, it's all Justin Roiland.
The
episode.
premiere was a masterpiece. The Mad Max one was mediocre. Pickle Rick I love. Vindicators was the funniest fucking thing.
Did I see it?
It's just
No.
like
That's
oh,
The Rick and Jerry episode, Whirly Dirly, that one I really like too. I think people who say it's the best episode or like the best one of season 3, I don't agree with that, but I liked it. The Toxic one, I don't know. It didn't have a lot of great jokes in it. I felt like it was a good story, it was a good idea, but like that could have been fucking hilarious, like just showing the worst side of Rick. But instead, it's just him saying "fuck you, fuck everything, fuck you," and it's just that's it. Like that's all he does throughout the episode.
well, it's the part where that's what he thinks is wrong with him
yeah.
because it's subjective what the machine
Yeah,
takes.
I liked that too. Again, story wise, it was a really good episode. It actually like does a lot with the characters. It's not bad. It's way better than the Mad Max one.
It's fine watching the Rick on Rick violence though.
Yeah, I mean, again, and I love like the part where he like, where Rick has to like replace his body real quick by implanting it into the monster.
Well, he implanted it into the toxic Rick,
Toxic,
and then
Yeah,
toxic
that's
Rick
right. That's
implanted
right.
it
That's
into the
right. That's
creature.
right. And then the Tales from the Citadel like gets on par with, like to possibly be the best episode of the show ever made. And then Morty's Mind Blowers. I liked it. It was funny. I would have preferred Interdimensional Cable 3. I don't know. I feel like most people probably have that. The best part was you fucked with the squirrels. You fucked with squirrels, Morty. All right.
That human boy watching.
Yeah.
So what? He's just a kid.
We're squirrels. Yeah, but he's looking as if he knows what we're saying. I won't say anymore. Ziff, put up a warning for spoilers for Rick and Morty. Right,
No.
This
Just,
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Sharpen.
should I? You really think it's necessary?
Fred, nah, I don't think we said anything that
yeah,
Fred.
It
Fred's
sounded
gonna
more
love,
just like a checklist of good episodes.
Fred, you're
I
gonna-
don't know.
Ball blade.
dude, Fred's
The
gonna
sharp
love the
blades.
Pickle Rick episode. Fred's gonna love Pickle
Not
Rick once we
those,
get
though.
it to it. That one, yes, I feel like that one is gonna be your favorite, Fred, once we get to it. Pickle Rick. I don't know. I think you're gonna love that. Just knowing you. All right, Zach, I'm sorry. This happens sometimes.
I hope other people that have seen Rick
I
and
hope
Morty
they
enjoyed
enjoyed
that.
it. I hope. I feel like they probably would if they liked the show and they just us hearing us gush about a show they like.
And dislike. Haha, joke.
I mean, I don't know. We've had moments like this on the show before, though. We go. Oh, one more thing. I forgot to mention this to you. I'm halfway. I'm on I finished the 8th episode of this 4th season of The 100.
Oh, good. Do you like it so far?
I fucking love it, and like it's like, oh, you're done with season 4. Oh, I love it so far. Like it might be the best season. Or it is so fast paced. Like so much shit happens, and only like, God,
Maybe it's
I
because
love it. I love every
I told
character.
you like that season, I would watch an episode like every now and then. So maybe for me it does seem slower, but probably not.
I thought. So far, I love everything. Like every character story is really interesting. I don't want to say anything about this one because this show is like every scene you mention in The 100 is a spoiler. Like there isn't anything that's like, oh, this part's not really a spoiler.
I think you'll really like. I think you'll really like the
Especially-
ending of the last episode, season 4. The last episode, season 4, is either my
They're doing
favorite or one of my favorite. No,
Yeah.
second
They
favorite.
got renewed. I know they got renewed, so this isn't the last one. I thought it might be the last
Did
one.
you?
but no,
Did
they
you
got
see
renewed
that?
for 5.
Did you see that episode yet that I told you about with Octavia's character? That one big episode. Or did you not get to that yet?
I mean, I can't.
I forget when it is, but
If you saying Octavia's big episode is the one
I
thing
told
that-
you a bit about it from season 4.
there hasn't been an episode that put all of its focus into Octavia yet. No, there's been an
Okay.
episode where she's the main character, like almost every episode, honestly. But
Zach, I finished.
Fred, you remember the episode? I'm trying not to spoil too much from Mike here. The big episode
spoil
where
anything.
she's fighting a lot. You remember that, Freddie?
I hear that she's a badass this
when
season.
she's fighting.
There's that one episode where she's fighting a lot, and she, it's like a
she's
big,
fighting.
it's like a Hunger Games kind of thing. I mentioned to Mike about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like my favorite episode. I don't know about you, but
My favorite episode is the episode where they land, and then Octavia is like, "We're back, bitches." that Octavia is better than the Octavia in season 4. That was the Clarky, the wacky, funny Octavia
it's
that we all
called
knew.
character development.
That was the cringiest
Yeah,
way to open the show.
They-
It got so much better so fast. The first episode is hilarious to look back on, like how much the writers improved on this show.
I love how they improved, which in season
did-
1 they
did a
kind
good
of
job.
in season 1 there's that one character which I'm sure we're going to touch up on in your derailed episode, but
Yeah.
what's that one adult's name? He's in love with the mom. What's his name again?
Kane.
Yeah, I
Mark.
remember early season 1.
Well, I hate
Or-
everyone hated him in season 1, but he became like one of the show's most likable characters.
But remember that transition from him to bad, from bad to good? It was kind of messy, but at the same time he accepted it because it's like, okay, it just make him good and keep it like that, and he became a good
I
character.
felt
but
like they transitioned it
Yeah.
well.
Same with.
it felt like his only motivation was the mom. It was kind of like, I don't know,
I
but at the
think
same
that,
time they
yeah,
did
he
it and
learned-
got over
he
with.
learned how to be fucking cold-hearted, and he saw a lot of flaws in the way he was handling things. Basically, it's
I
like-
don't know why I had to take for some
It's
things.
Jaha.
It's like it felt like
Jaha.
all of his life he was like
No.
that. I don't know.
Jaha, and like I agree with him for the most part this season, but Jaha has like no remorse for this shit he's done,
Yeah.
and like that, and he used to not be like that. Though he kind of
At the same
became
time, remember going into season 2, like thinking Jaha was dead, and then at the beginning of season 2, he's coming back. Like, did you get the same feeling that I did? That I was like, okay, I think this is a really smart decision, them bringing him on the show, because his presence, he's just that
I love
authority.
Jaha, and I think And I think it's a little bit ridiculous that he was able to make it back to Earth. Everyone, I thought that was a little silly, but I fucking love.
I found that badass, honestly. Like just him
It
alone was
was
able
bad-
to with a big.
it
Like
was
it was
badass.
awesome.
It was badass. Don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah.
just it doesn't. I know I'm saying this about the 100. It's not a super realistic show. It just seemed very unrealistic. You know, like
CW.
it seemed like it took away some of the sacrifice he made in the first season too. But I'm happy he's on the show. I like Jaha.
I
He's
was very
fucked up.
surprised by the arc that they gave him afterwards. Like
City of-
like. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they did a good
Him
job.
getting to the City of Light was fucked up, and I won't even say why. But you remember what he does on that boat? It's fucked up. I think what we need to wrap this up now because I do have stuff to do.
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure, everyone. Gage,
We're not
Fred,
going anywhere.
Zachary.
Let's all get a
Get
good.
the fuck out of my house!
No, let's get a good family shot of the three of you because we barely saw Fred
Yeah,
after a certain point.
I should try to do me seeks, right?
And also Gage should be here too.
I can't
Or I
do
guess,
the voice.
or I guess we're not getting anyone in the shot. That's cool too.
Meeseeks, look at me.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
Oh, that's a good invitation.
That's not even like my best. Like I can do it good. I do it best when I'm drunk. Like, I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
Oh, so I'd have a good chance. Took 2 shots of Jameson.
I think you're
Today.
standing for
Oh,
Royland
we
just to do a
can
music
do,
episode.
Jerry.
That's what's just gonna happen.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
Who voiced me?
Justin Roland.
So how many characters does he do?
A lot.
Like most of
A
them.
lot.
I think he does everyone. I think he does everyone. I think that's him improvising.
All right.
So he does more characters in his own show than like
Or not.
Seth.
I don't know about that, but maybe he does voice a lot of characters though. All right. Thanks for watching
All right.
DuckCast episode 42.
Yep.
It was a good one.
We need
Yep.
someone to do a good voice impression of Pash Warburn.
Cody.
All right.
Okay, you can do an okay one.
All right. All right. All right.
I mean,
Are we ending it now?
end it. I thought you already ended it.
No, I'm waiting for like everyone keeps cutting off, and it's like we gotta get a good,
I was
good
getting ready to
last
show them
line.
something.
What?
Okay, end of episode 42. There's your line. End it.
Don't be sarcastic with me. Do it again.
I
Come
actually
on.
want
We
to
gotta,
do
we gotta
something.
get this right. Come on.
End the episode.
No, now you're being too testy with me right now. I don't appreciate it.
And
How about you tone
then
down the sassy?
we're gonna bring that thing back from the first season where I end the call.
Hmm.
Remember that? Remember that, Zach?
It's gonna
Which
look
one's the-
stupid because you're. Oh, see, he looks like the bad guy now. Now I'm alone. At least the split screen's gone, right? Yeah, it's gone. Nice.